Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwan, and today we're going to be talking about the Iron Warrior, specifically the origins of the Iron Warrior Legion, so before they became traitors. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K lore videos every single day. If you have any suggestions, please comment down below, and if you enjoy our content, thank our patrons on Patreon. It is because of them that we can do this. Link in the description if you guys want to support us. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on the origins of the Iron Warriors. Before the traitorous Iron Warriors turned against the Emperor of Mankind and allied with the War Master Horus, the 4th Legion was a ruthless and effective loyalist army capable of tearing down any impregnable fortress or citadel that dared stand in the path of the Emperor's will. The first recruits of this unrelenting legion came from Holy Terra itself, the children of the warlike gun tribes, blood cults, and tech enclaves in the surrounding areas of the Euro Plateau of Sec Amrak, a region of ancient Terra that was pacified with fire and bolter during the Unification War. Although this region had rebelled against the Emperor after its conquest, the area rapidly became one of the most stalwart of loyalist domains. Documentary evidence attests that the 4th Legion's gene seed showed an above-average adaptability, and the rate of implant rejections were notably low, particularly in comparison with difficulties in large-scale implantation encounters with the progenioid type, which would not be eliminated until the acquisition of the gene labs of Luna. This advantage meant that the Loyalist Iron Warriors' fighting strength was built rapidly, expanding to several fully battle-ready battalions, while some of the other legions were still unable to reach that battle readiness. The Loyalist Iron Warriors fought first on Terra, breaking down any resistance to the new Imperium of Man. They then moved forward with the Imperial Army during the pacification of the Sol System. Testaments of these conflicts can be found in the surviving frescoes in the Imperial Palace, one of which was the key battle of Mariaged during the Venusian campaign, where the Emperor himself took direct command of the Iron Warriors and broke the back of the deadly Litho-Golem armies of the War Witches. The serried ranks and proud steel banners of the 4th Legion stood high above the crumbling ruins of those mutant abominations. These victories were rewarded with primary resupplies of the newer classes of weapons and engines of war, as they were made available from the Emperor's alliance with Mars. To replenish their ranks, the Loyalist Iron Warriors were also given a short-term increase of Terran recruits that were originally intended for the Emperor's Children Legion. With these boons, the 4th Legion became one of the most numerous of the Legiones Astarte during the early years of the Great Crusade, enabling its forces to successfully split between several early expeditionary fleets. Most notable of these was the 8th Expeditionary Fleet. This force conquered or reclaimed 29 core word system clusters and annihilated several interstellar Xeno realms in a protracted 11-year campaign, which played a key part in the establishment of the Imperium's control of the Segmentum Solar. All were achievements from which it was recognized and commemorated by the Emperor of Mankind. The Loyalist Iron Warriors took from the 8th Expeditionary Fleet the emblem of the winged bolt as its first heraldic device and displayed its battle honors with pride, carrying them as Vixilent standards before the dauntless columns of its legionnaires as they advanced into shot and shell across dozens of worlds. As the forces of the Great Crusade went beyond the boundaries of the Segmentum Solar, pushing onward with the Great Crusade's expansion, several sources note that the 4th Legion quickly lost any specific ties to Terra, either by culture or indeed recruit intake pattern, although as it pushed ever onward at the forefront of the expansion, its military formation always remained rigidly unchanged. The 4th Legion's bloody-minded tactical stubbornness came to bear during the Imperial Compliance Campaign on the Forge World of Encaldion in a grueling year-long action. Although victory was eventually achieved, the operation would see the near annihilation of the 8th Expeditionary Fleet's frontline forces in what was arguably a needlessly costly fashion. During this battle, the Legion refused to withdraw from the field after the initial assault unraveled in the face of unprecedented and unexpected counterattacks. They fought on regardless, adhering to the battle plans already in tatters. Nearly 29,000 of their numbers fell in a single engagement before enemy forces were worn down by bloody attrition, including many of the Legion's most veteran units, making this battle one of the most costly of its age. However, the Legion's method of warfare was astonishing. Regardless of circumstance or enemy, the Loyalist Iron Warriors were able to overcome any obstacle or difficulty they faced, applying force of arms alone rather than cunning stratagems or bloody-handed heroics. These combined factors set them out as being increasingly different from many of their brother legions, as by this period of the Great Crusade, most Space Marine legions were now divergent from the basic Terran pattern set as a template during the first muster. This pragmatic yet effective warfare labeled them as unimaginative, robotic, and even honorless fighters in the minds of certain other Space Marine legions. Conversely, to some within the Great Crusade's high command, these traits were positive factors, making the 4th Legion arguably more reliable in deployment than most of the other esoteric legions, and more ready to meet command from outside their own legion without any complaint. Because of this, the loyalist Iron Warriors were increasingly used to fight in glorious but vital campaigns of backbreaking attrition and drawn-out bloodshed, and they became in short a workhorse legion, relied upon both for their martial power and their reliability in following orders to the letter. The Iron Warriors followed a simple method of warfare. They commenced every battle with a sustained artillery bombardment, utilizing every weapon at their disposal. The basis of this was a complex fire plan, in which every weapon was directed with the utmost care at the optimum target for maximum effect. Whenever possible, the Iron Warriors would coordinate with the Titan legions to add to their own considerable firepower. This emphasis on artillery and mechanized warfare meant that the Iron Warrior forces often fared better in siege warfare and armored advances towards enemy territory. Whenever possible, field fortifications were used. Iron Warrior doctrines included extensive use of fortifications to occupy the maximum number of opponents while using the absolute minimum number of troops. This in turn kept the bulk of the Iron Warrior Marines fresh and available for assaults, and allowed them to achieve superiority elsewhere. When the Iron Warrior forces launched a planetary assault, they always began with an intense orbital bombardment, which would pressure the enemy into surrender without a single Iron Warrior having to land on the surface. They fought repeatedly in thankless sieges and protracted suppression campaigns, which demonstrated the might of the Legion of Astartes to secure victory, but which carried little renown. They also undertook the garrisoning of worlds too dangerous for any but Space Marines to hold. The 4th Legion had a single charter course whose direction lay in the hands of others, to follow the orders of the Great Crusade, whether it was a task to fight or die. From warzone to warzone, the 4th Legion went without respite or fanfare, taking bleak pride in its largely thankless work. And at last, the Legion subtly changed, just as its formerly great strength in numbers was bled through attrition, and its brother legions outpaced it in glory. With the benefit of hindsight, it is perhaps possible to see that it was during these times, even before they were reunited with their Primarch, that a subtle wedge had been driven between the 4th Legion and its brothers, creating a fracture that would worsen in time. It is with this lore that you kind of feel bad for the Iron Warriors, and you don't blame them for turning against the Emperor or the Imperium. I honestly think that the Iron Warriors is that one Space Marine Legion that, regardless of what would have happened, whether the Horus Heresy actually happened or whether it was like a different person leading the heresy, I think the Iron Warriors would have been on the side of evil, or not evil, but bad, because they're technically Chaos Undivided. They haven't really gotten the powers of any specific Chaos God, unless you look at the warbands. But now that you understand the origins, you kind of get a feel for like, oh yeah, these guys were destined to betray, if not the Emperor, they were destined to betray the Imperium, especially because most Space Marines look down upon humans, and then on top of that, they look down upon these people, and they are fighting a war for these people that is devastating to them and the rest of their brothers. This legion definitely represents the attrition aspect of warfare. They are the equivalent to the Death Corps of Krieg for the Astra Militarum, or they would have been if they would have maintained loyalty, I guess. But in 30K standards, they're definitely like the Death Corps of Krieg, just like killing them with numbers. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have suggestions for any other Space Marine topics, please comment down below. Remember that every Sunday, Saturday is Space Marine Sunday and Saturday, so I'm gonna try my best to keep that going. If you guys have any other suggestions, let me know in the comment section below. If you guys enjoy our content, thank our patrons on Patreon. It's because of them that we can do this. Link in the description if you guys want to support us. It's just $1 a month, and with that dollar, we can create this content every single day. So thank you guys for watching and supporting. I will talk to you tomorrow. This is Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.